If anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. I hope everybody will come on the channel tonight at 1100 hours and join us for the Now Space News weekly syntax news show, where in the cognitive conjunction portion of tonight's program, there's another individual out there claiming to be a commander-in-chief. Also, he talks a lot of smack about Russell J. Gould. So if you're interested in that, tune in tonight. Set your notifications, 1100 hours for the Now Space News. Also, I do have an Instagram account. You can just look it up, :Jason-Matthew:_Glass. I should pop right up. Send me a request, and I'll approve it. Also on Instagram as Coral Blade Grotto. Coral Blade Grotto has its own account. I'm a little more selective about my followers over on that one, though. Have some cool content coming your way this week. I just finished a video where I do a deep dive into the positionals of correct sentence structure, for, of, with, and by. I come at it from a different angle than I have previously, in that I go into a speculation as to how David-WYNN Miller came to the conclusion that he wanted to use for, of, with, and by. Like, why did he choose those words in particular for his positionals in correct sentence structure? Now, I've been studying this stuff for years. This video that I created is the culmination of that. I've definitely, condensed it down into about a half an hour. We're talking about thousands of hours of study put into a half-hour video. Condensed for you, the viewer, free of charge. Boom, done. Showing you a continuance of the evidence as to why I think David chose the word for to serve the function of the cause of the sentence, of to serve the function of the concern, or as he said, consequence. But as you know, consequence has a particle of negation in it. So I use the word concern. And I also go into why I think that it is a better choice of word to use to explain of. And then with, which is the possessive, and by, which is the authority. I'll probably release that early in the week, maybe Tuesday. I don't know if there'll be a comments video this week because I haven't really gotten too many comments. Not any comments like usual, which is interesting. I just posted a members only video. So if you're interested in exclusive content, join up the second tier of membership, which is loyalists and contributors, and you could have access to that type of material. This week I talk about using your punctuated name on an adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble contract. And I give some thoughts on that. I think what's happening here, because I just did a video on the tilde, and that's a mini class. And this video that I'm going to be releasing in a couple days about the positionals, that's a mini class. I think probably the most important playlist on the channel right now is the mini class playlist. And I think that's going to take precedence over all the other playlists as far as important knowledge with regards to correct sentence structure, because it's definitely the most up-to-date knowledge. Pretty sure all those videos in the mini class have been released in the last 365 days. So people always ask me, Jason, you know, you have almost 500 videos on your channel. Where do I start? Start at the mini class playlist and just work your way through it. And then from there, you can branch out into the PARSE playlist, the syntax playlist, the correct sentence structure communication playlist, coffee correct grammar playlist. But the mini class is definitely a good place to start. Raul Document. Thank you for your membership, Raul. Appreciate it. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving Day with your family. I did. Thank you very much, and I hope you did as well. I have a question. Is the grammar recognized as valid in any recognized fiction jurisdiction? The answer to that would be no. Absolutely not. Because fiction can never meet fact. Fiction can never meet fact. On the flip side to that, if you choose, once you learn correct sentence structure, once you get closure on it, enough to at least be able to try to use it, then you will begin to understand its value, and that the very fact that it is not recognized by any fiction entity is actually an advantage and a key point as to why it does stop bureaucratic trespass. Again, it's a psychological thing. Do you have any follow-up questions regarding that? I'll just wait a few minutes and see if Raul has any follow-up questions to that initial question. I once had a friend who was well versed in common law, and he had contacted me and was really adamant and passionate about telling me something about David-WYNN Miller, saying that David-WYNN Miller was teaching the wrong grammar on purpose to wrong lead the people, and that no fiction court is going to recognize correct sentence structure. And he was kind of taken aback when I said, yeah, and so? I know they won't recognize it. Why would they? Why would a fiction ever recognize a fact? And he was kind of baffled by that, and I said, if you want to participate with the fiction, then you walk in there with fiction documents. But if you want to hold the position of a fact, that's an entirely different mechanic. And that's definitely something that I came to the realization of during the first year of study. When I went hardcore into it, I realized that it is a psychological issue, actually. So people want, for whatever reason, people want the fiction to recognize the fact. And it will never do that. It will never, ever, ever do that. Well, okay, I can't say that for sure. I can't say that for sure. I can say that for sure up to this point. I've never seen an example of the fiction recognizing the fact. I've seen the fiction making fun of the fact, being condescending about the fact, being derisive about the fact, making fun of correct sentence structure, making fun of David-WYNN. But I've never seen fiction actually, it'll never happen. What happens is the fiction goes on vacation. The fiction vacates. The fiction disappears. It dissipates. It goes away. The trespass stops. That's what happens. And they'll never admit to it. I saw the message before you retracted it. You said patents, question mark. I'm not sure what you're asking about patents, but patents is a fiction concept. It's a fiction mechanic. You're paying money, I suppose, you're paying money to get some sort of security with the fiction to get a patent on something, so that if someone steals the patent or whatever, or steals whatever you're doing that you have patented to the fiction, then now you can use the fiction legal system to extract some sort of penalty from them. Those are all fiction concepts. Nothing to do with fact. See, the fiction is all about forcing people to do things they don't want to do. The fiction, in a psychological sense, cultivates the mentality that they have authority over you and can force you to do something that you don't want to do because they have some sort of imaginary authority. But all contract is by consent. It's a pretty big psychological hurdle. There is a very long delay with the chat. Yeah, I agree. I did a video. I can't really remember where the video is. I don't know if it's in the members only section or not. It may be. Which, Raul, you are a member, and if you are a loyalist contributor, then you would have access to the video anyways, and I'm speaking to you directly. There is a video about the honor system, which plays into the public versus private sector, public versus confidential sector, and how the honor system works with correct sentence structure. And I go into very great detail and explicate how that works. Not everybody's on board with that, because I understand, everybody, myself included, have been programmed by the fiction system to think a certain way as an authoritarian follower. It's very difficult to come out of that mindset. And the only way to really understand it would be to learn the grammar. Would be to learn correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. And the best way to get your feet wet doing that, by my experience, and my students can tell you this, is to just email me. Request a 10 to 15 minute consultation. All it costs is your now space. There are no charges or fees for the consult. And then you and I can have a video consult, and you could ask me whatever you want. And if I think that you're a good candidate to learn this grammar, that you're in a good position to do so, we'll move forward, and you can start doing workshops and start getting a grasp of this grammar and starting to understand it, because then you'll be able to answer all these questions yourself by learning the grammar and having a concrete curriculum with which to participate with. Do you know where or when the fiction system was set up? No, I have no idea. By my knowledge, the fiction system only became the fiction system after David-WYNN Miller brought correct sentence structure to the public. Before that, it was just the system. Until David illustrated how you can position words as facts, then all of a sudden, and he also demonstrated how there's so much modification in the language, then all of a sudden the system was revealed as fiction. I mean, I've only been living for about 50 years, so that's as far back as I can certify anything. Alright, I'll check that out after I get off this live then and approve it. Thanks for the follow. So anybody that tells you, even David-WYNN Miller talking about, well, 800 years ago, this, that, and the third happened. I mean, how the hell does he know? He wasn't there. I mean, I know he was an older gentleman, and I know he claimed a lot of interesting things, like he didn't sleep, right? He doesn't have an adrenal gland or whatever. But no one could possibly know what happened 800 years ago unless they were there. It's all speculation. It's all guessing. And I don't really concern myself too much with that because it doesn't really pertain to what's happening now. I mean, sure, it's fun to speculate on those types of things. But, hey, I gotta go. I'll try and come back ASAP. If not, have a good day.